So the theme is letting things in, and most of the time I get up here and I tell these wonderful stories about how I became enlightened and became light as a human being. Well, tonight I'm going to tell you a story about a dark moment when I really let the evil in, when I really allowed myself to go to this very dark place within myself. So sophomore in high school, it was the year that I spent the entire year grounded, because all I did was lie. If my mother told me to do something, asked me to do something, I would lie. I don't know what it was about this situation, but I could not tell the truth to save my life. And I didn't want to get in trouble, and so I just continued to tell lies, and I kept getting caught, and I was grounded for an entire year. So I was very, very bitter. And my brother, I come from a big Greek family, and in a Greek tradition, if you give birth to a boy, you have done the world's the biggest favor on earth. And so the youngest child in my family was a boy. And Michael, on this year of my tremendous, hardship, my brother was like the golden child whose feet never touched the ground. Everything he did was perfect. And while I was toiling with all the chores that I had to do because I was such a bad child, one of the chores was laundry. So I brought the laundry up that morning, or that afternoon, and I lived in a bungalow, and we had to walk through my brother's room to get to my room in the back. And so I left the clothes on his bed, and when I got to his room, I was horrified, because all over his bed were probably 30 or 40 Playboy Penthouse magazines, just laid out like you're in a newsstand, okay? Just all over the place. And I mean, my sister and I had to walk through his room to get to our room. This horrified me, because here I am getting in trouble for every minor infraction, but the boy has like a Playboy ensemble out here and nothing's happening to him. So I am steaming, and in this, seething anger that I was in, like my teenage angst, I wrote a note that said as follows: Michael, come see me about your choice of reading material. Mom. My mother had a horrible handwriting. There was no way he was going to catch that it was me. So my brother gets home from wherever he was and sees the light on in my room underneath the door, and comes bursting in, knock, 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 and he comes in and he says, Shar, was Mom up here? And I said, yeah, only to bring the laundry up earlier. And he goes, oh, shit. Oh, he's freaking out, like freaking out. And I am cool as a cucumber. I invite my brother to tell me what happened, what's going on. Oh, it wasn't me. All these guys, they came over, they got my whole stash, they put it out, and then we were running to get to some game, and they left it all out, and Mom was here, and he's freaking out. And the whole time, I am just like, I'm commiserating with him. And so, as a good big sister, he asks me, like, what should I do? What should I do? And I said, Mike, I don't know. I said, take a lesson from me. I keep getting in trouble because I keep lying. If I were you, I would just go downstairs and I would confess the truth. Really? Yeah, Mike, look, every time I get in trouble, it's because I keep lying. If I were you, I would just tell the truth. The story gets fuzzy there, because I don't really know a lot of what happened until many years later, like Nan. I never found out the end of that story for a very long time. I did know, though, that he did not get in trouble. It was one more nail in the casket where I knew I was just like the indentured servant that was never going to get away with anything, because he got in no trouble whatsoever, and I was still, I was still in trouble. But he did go downstairs. I found out many years later. And my mother, again, she's a very cool customer. How did she think she found every single thing that I did? I didn't know I was under such surveillance. She was like checking every note and everything in my backpack. But he came down and said, hey, Mom, you wanted to talk to me? And she said, yeah. And he goes, well? And she goes, well, why don't you start? Why don't you start? He confessed the whole thing. and lost his entire stash of Playboys and penthouses. And that is the story of how I let the evil in. And I'm not at all upset about it.